Welcome. Yeehaw! All right, I get the camera fixed. There it is. This is the Overdose GALM version 2 Anti Plus. Yes, so the Anti Plus is 2023 decks, as I said in the unbox video. So these are designed for anti-flex. Ooh, got little marks already from sending it. Nothing hardcore, a little scuff mark. But yes, it's very nice. You can hear tons of motor because of the belt drive, which is going really well. Locked spool, so we got a good amount of pace. As you can see, the car has no trouble getting around the track. And compared to some of the other cars today, when I was testing it around, yeah, good pace. It could stay with pretty much anything, and there was no trouble with that. So acceleration is not an issue. This is the out-of-box tune spec, 2mm preload as per the instructions, and even with that, the ride height's a little low with all the stuff loaded up, like battle ready, so to say. The body makes it like teeny bit lower, but balances the car out pretty good. But overall, the car feels pretty nice. It's mild in terms of the setup and feel. It does have like a planted sort of feel, but it also just feels very tame and mild. And with throttling and steering, there isn't much sort of actual response from the chassis in terms of like weight shift or you feeling a whole heck of a lot at the moment. Regardless though, it's nice and smooth. There's a good amount of angle here, as my test driver Steve is turning the wheel here. So there's a good amount of angle on tap, and there are stoppers on the knuckles. And then once you upgrade the steering front end here in geometry and whatever, you can get some more angle out of there, do some more tunability and things like that. But overall, the car is nice to drive. Like I said, mild and tame, nothing too crazy. You can get near the high lock drifts, but you won't be able to really push the car through at the high angle. It doesn't in this setup form. It doesn't like high angle at the moment. It will give it to you. If I flick the car off for a second, it will give you a good amount of high angle, but I can't get where I normally like to. So this looks about, just by eyeballing it, probably about 70 degrees. Where some other cars out of the box, like in the last, like, let's say, few years of giving a little more out of the box. In terms of the overall spec, the amount of plastic and the aluminum shocks, carbon decks, and carbon rear shock tower, it's sort of along the lines of like the old YD2 Plus levels, like in terms of the amount of aluminum and plastic you get. just below the SX level because there's no aluminum slide rack or aluminum belt crank, but there's a slide rack here, and it works pretty good. The servo saver here I did install. This is the Overdose servo saver the kit comes with. It's pretty weak because I can move the steering around without the servo responding type thing. On track it does work, like you saw the car driving around. However, the gyro setting we've put I think is around just 60% for testing, and without a body we get a good amount of wheel wobble. Not a terrible amount, but it is noticeable on switchback and stuff like that. Mainly that's the steering servo saver here, because another buddy of mine, Brian, he got one as well, a GALM B2 Anti Plus, and he installed a straight horn and the same gyro setting with pretty much the same electronics. There's no wobble at 60%, so don't use this because it's just a bit too weak. It will get you going, but it's not, I wouldn't recommend it. But otherwise, yes, I do like the car. It does feel nice. I can push it, like an experienced hand with this car can push it along and maximize the out-of-box setup, for example, if you decided to run that. But there's some tuning I can do to this car with the plastic parts that have come with it. Not a whole heck of a lot, but there are some things that we can do to make it more smoother on its angle, maybe give it a little more angle. Possibly there might be some things I can do, but otherwise I like it. But in terms of the out-of-box driving spec, it's just below like the RDX and MD1. The RDX being fully plastic and the MD1 being the Master Drift being the new top car from the new Yokomo line. So yeah, in terms of the out-of-box spec, this reminds me of the MD Black, the original one, because it was pretty tame and pretty chill. But it's just under the RDX, whereas the RDX drives really, really well out of box. But this design is originated from 2017, and the decks and a bunch of refinement has been done over the last few years, but the decks themselves are from 2023. That's the newer version. The rest of the car has had quite a lot of refinement over the years. But yeah, the RDX just happens to drive a little bit better out of box. But however, this has big potential. There's tons of parts for these things. You can color them up all purple, all red, and all that stuff. Sometimes people go full option. I'm not going to go full option like right away. I'm going to do particular options in places, like probably lower arms, upper arms, knuckles, slide rack, and probably a high motor mount or something like that. Maybe rear AC mount as well. But yeah, it is nice, it is tame, and we'll let you get out there and drift. And you can battle, you can tandem with your buddies, but in terms of like comp spec, like you could enter a comp with this, but you'd really have to drive it. You'd really have to throw down in the skill to really get the max for the out of box, unless you gave it a tune. But other than that, my test driver Steve and I, yeah, we both like it, but we both agree it is pretty mild. And in the out of box spec, there isn't a whole heck of a lot of response from the suspension. It's there. The car works and everything, but there's more to be had. I should say, with all this. So, but for the sake of out of box and making it work, it's good. I approve. And then I'll probably see what I can do with the plastic stuff before putting parts on it. But yeah, otherwise it's good. So yes, from now I'm gonna put a body on it, get a little bit more footage for y'all. But otherwise, that's the Overdose GALM version 2 Anti Plus chassis with all bad shop electronics in it, with a little bit of boost. And yeah, it's good to go. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned here for a little bit of footage of a body. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you can do big sendos. You just have to know how to collect the car up after you do, like, say a reverse style entry. It'll let you do it, but you really have to pay attention on how the car reacts when it comes back. The gutter run helps you see that. Even like that, big send, just gonna collect up the throttle and you're good. Can't wait to tune this one though, that's for sure. Heck yes.